What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Devy Royale. Today, we're back on the channel. We're going to be talking about 2025 wide receivers. So we're going to go through our top five. We're going to be looking at a little bit of scouting, a little bit of production, and I got some advanced stats for you guys that we drop in our Patreon and that Jay Stein kind of breaks down for us. A little bit of PFF, a little bit of grades, and we're going to be kind of talking about each prospect, going a little deeper, right? So that's what we're trying to do here. So if you play in college fantasy, if you just like college football, and we're looking at, hey, who are these next guys, these sophomores that are coming in college football that you should be on the lookout? We're going to do on the radar prospects. We're going to be looking at everything. So if you like that, stick around, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let us know what you think of this video. So I appreciate you guys. Then we'll be diving in right after the intro. All right, let's dive in. I had to get my boy Luther Burden on here as the thumbnail, but let's get into Evan Stewart. So he's our number one here, consensus wise here at the Devy Royale. And to me, it's close. They're in a tier, but Evan was my wide receiver one coming out of high school last year, so I had the receipts. You can't yell at me. And you know what? I love his playmaking ability. Like when you're looking at him, hey, 53 catches, 649 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He stayed at Texas A&M, which is something that a lot of people didn't think he was going to do. They thought he was going to transfer out. He looked like their best weapon. He looked really good last year, even with the poor quarterback play and offensive play. And they finally kind of settle on Connor Weigman. They have a very good connection. Connor's coming back now, so they're going to have that connection, that duo together. Like I thought he really stood out, and I think he's getting slept on a little bit in leagues. I think he's a value. So when you're looking at values in that late first, early second round, I think Evan Stewart is a smash value, a smash draft player right there. Now, as far as scouting goes, because we're going to dive into a little bit of advanced numbers here in a minute, but like speed, number one, like I think projection wise, if you can get to that 4.38 ish, 4.35, 4.36, 4.37 area, I would love that. Like that would be good. I think he gets guys over the top. He puts pressure on defenses. Like those are the things that Evan does really well, right? Hands. I think he has really good hands. From what I see, like when you're looking at what his ability is and what he can do, I know he has some drops on his tape, and when you're looking at that, but contested catches wise, he has it. I think he can get up. He has a good catch radius for his size. Like those are the things that stand out to me. I think he's going to improve on that. Once he gets better balls thrown to him as well, like I think that drop percentage is going to go down. So I really do like his hands. I think he's going to elevate that part of his game, and he's going to improve it. And I think he's a game changer, man. I think he's the type of guy that you get out there and there's differences. Like if you watch football enough and college football like me and like a lot of other people out there, if you're a big college football fan, there's just dudes that change the game when they get on the field. And I think Evan Stewart is one of those guys. Like you saw last year, go watch his Alabama tape. I mean, that's cut and dry, like one of the best players on that field, right? Against Alabama. So I think he's a real game changer. The weakness is, I think, with size. Like, what's his BMI going to be, right? So, like, right now, 23.7 is not great. So, if you're thinking about like an alpha profile to over 27, you'd like somewhere in that category. So, at 20, 3.7 ish, like, I think what analyst guys call them is betas. I have a hard time doing that because these are grown ass men playing a sport. But when you're thinking of like the prospects and the profiles and what they look like, I think his size, yeah, I think that's just I wouldn't say weaknesses. It's just something to note about his profile, right? We're trying to build a profile here. And then his yak is not great. And I think his yards after catch, when you're going over just the advanced numbers and what he's been able to do, like, his yak right now after receptions, 2.9 yards. That's one of the lowest of all the wide receivers in 2025 class, and especially the top guys that we're going to talk about today, right? So what is that? Is that a combination of just bad offensive play, in terms of ball, just getting ball, double coverage, getting tackled as soon as you can? Like there's not a lot of big yak plays about him. So that's something to look at. I think that's something to note. Like size and yak, I think are areas, if you wanted to bump him down, I would understand it. Now, as far as the advanced stats go, so here are some metrics for you guys. And again, I'm not really a big analytics guy, but I know that these are the ones that you want to look out for. So target market share was 33.6%. You're looking at reception market share, 28.9. Yards market share, 29.3. Touchdowns market share, 13.3. Dominator rating, what you're looking for is over 20%. And he did hit over that, and in the weighted dominator at 26.1%. That's something to note, right? So he hit that over 20%, got that breakout, and that's really what you're looking for. And I think another thing you're looking for is ADOT. Evan Stewart at 11.5 ADOT. So of the guys that we're going to be kind of talking about today, the top five, that's the second highest. So you like that, right? So you're going to like that percentage there. I do like that he can kind of play a different area. So slot percentage right now is just at 11%, but he's been on the outside as well. So he's very versatile too. So those are the kind of the numbers there. Now, when you look at number 2 is Luther Burden, I believe they're in the same tier. So I've been a Burden guy. I think that he comps very well to like Debo Samuel. Like if he can hit that ceiling comp, that's on him, right? So when you're looking at it, what he's able to do, he didn't have huge numbers: 45 catches, 375 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So not huge numbers here, but enough numbers, right? So when we're thinking about what he was able to do, he still hit the break. Still hit that dominator rating. So we like what he did there. But overall, those are the numbers that you're going to see from him, right? So now, what does he do well? From a scouting perspective, he's got the size. So he's going to have that BMI. He's 29. He's going to hit that number that you like to see. He's an alpha. So he's going to be an alpha there. He has the yak. So unlike Stewart, what we talked about, his yak ability was really sets him apart as a prospect, right? So, yards per yak after receptions about 6.6. But I do think when you plug in his ADOT, which is 9.7, ADOT and yak 16.3 is pretty high. And I think also when you're looking at him overall, he has an ability to not only just take you to the house every time, just, runs, little sweeps that they like to do, fly sweeps, stuff like that. Like teams can utilize him differently because of his size. And that's something to know. Usage, he's going to go up, man. When you're looking at Dominic Lovett transfer to Georgia, I think they're going to have a wide open room. He could step in. He's going to be that dude. Now, on the other side, I think athleticism, like what is that going to look like? Speed and testing. So, like right now, is this 40 in the 4.4s or in the 4.5s? What is his lateral athleticism? Like, I think the biggest question mark, I think he's a stud. I think that he has the size and the yak and that. What is his overall athletic profile going to be? What is that testing going to look like? I think that's the key thing that you got to think of when you're thinking of Luther and you're trying to put this together. And I do think they have a bad offense. Now, they got a new offense coordinator from Fresno State. Do they have a better quarterback? I don't know. Jake Garcia looks like he's the only healthy guy going into spring, transfer from Miami. What does that look like? So I do think that he could be limited. And you saw that with the production last year and the frustration of him not getting the ball last year. Will that continue? And I think that's something to kind of know. It's not really a weakness for him, but it could be a weakness in his profile because you might not see the production, right? Now, as far as advanced stats, target market share was at 20%, 18.3 for receiving market share, yards market share, you see there. Touchdown market share is where he hit his big number, 42%. Like he had legit touchdowns when you're thinking of where he did 6 touchdowns when his team only had 14, which isn't great. That's the bad offense part, right? Dominator rating 28.6. So he hit that number, weighted dominator at 20%. So you like to see that. ADOT, 9.7. You really like to see that. Slot percentage, 12%. He does have a good catch percentage. His drop percentage is at 13. So it's a little higher. But overall, like you really like to see, that from him. So from an advanced metrics part, Luther does hit some of the big numbers that you like to see. Now, I think those guys are in their tier. Then you're going to have another tier. And this is where we get into our 3. And this might be a little hot take for me, but I like Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden plays at Houston. He's going up into the Big 12. So we're looking at that. 38 catches, 584 yards, and 7 touchdowns, 15.4 yards receptions. Golden has that. Like when you're looking at what he's able to do, like he is a very, very solid prospect. Not an amazing prospect and profile, like in terms of like these other guys, but I think Golden is like a very solid guy. Like when you're looking at what he's able to do. And I think also when you're looking at him, Golden is that outside guy. He's not necessarily a slot guy. He's an outside guy. So he's going to represent kind of maybe what you would look like if he's not just a slot receiver, right? And that can kind of look down for in certain profiles. Overall, I think Yak, he has it. So when you're looking at Golden and what he's able to do, he can take things from the house from the outside, not just the slot, right? So we're not talking about just a screen and go. Like we're looking at like a lot of different areas here. Overall, his ADOT is one of the highest, 12.1. So that's pretty good. So you're looking at that plus his yak. He's up there in the 18.2 yards for ADOT and yak per reception. So you really like that. You like his speed. I think he's going to test pretty well athletically. If he can get in that 4.4 range, 4.45-ish, kind of like where we want Burden to be, I think that would be better. I think he can be a vertical threat. You see him get behind defenses a lot. Weaknesses, I guess play strength. He's at that BMI is right around 25. I do think that when you watch him, he's got to get a little stronger off the press, right? So when he's getting pressed, okay, and getting into his routes, he's got to get a little stronger off there. Press coverage, that's really where it comes down to. Like, if he can do that and he can do that at the Big 12 level, which is better than what he was playing in the American, then I'm happy with that, right? Now, as far as advanced stats go, this is what you're looking at here. Target market share is kind of down 14%. But Tank Dell is gone now. So Tank Dell is the major player in that offense. Now he's gone. He's in the NFL. So we're going to see that jump up a lot. Receiving market share of 13.4%. So you see these numbers and you see how what he was able to do, and his dominator is just under 20%. But with Dell gone, that should be jumped up, right? So that is kind of what you're looking at with like these numbers. There's some context to these ones. So with Tank Dell gone, getting rid of like and having all those vacant targets, and I know some people think they're not real, but Golden's going to be able to earn those targets. And I think that's where you're looking at. So you have the weighted dominator, 17% and so forth. Like that's what you're really, really doing there with him. And then, other numbers, ADOT, like I said, 12.1. I do like where his catch percentage is high. He has one of the lower drop percentages of this group. Between the top five, he's the third. He's right there, Ryan, the next guy that we're going to be talking about. So when you're looking at that, pretty good there. Now, number 4 guy, Barry Brown from Kentucky. And you know what? Jay talked about it on our Patreon podcast. He has him at 2. So Barry Brown's one of those guys who's going to be electric, right? And he's going to be kind of like debated a little bit because his BMI. He's a smaller guy, 6'1", 166. I doubt he's 6'1", but if he's at 166, that's going to be tough. But he's explosive, right? Barry Brown's one of the most explosive players in college football. 4 touchdowns, 628 yards. But I think when you're looking at his return ability, his ability to get the ball in space, he's going to be there with Devin Leary. Like he's gonna pop off, and that's one of those things where you're projecting a little bit. As far as like what he does well, yak, like that's huge. Like in his game, the yak ability, his ability to just kind of take it to the house in every play. Like he's the one guy, if he grabs the ball, you could think, like, hey, this guy's gonna be gone, right? Like that is really burying. His ADOT's about 9 yards, for reception there, but his yak, I mean, is about 8.6 yards of reception. So he is right there. He is out of all of the players in the 2025 class. He's with how many receiving yards he has and that market share and everything. He's number 1 in terms of yards per reception. He's the number 1, especially in the top 10. He is right there. So give him that's where you look at that yak playmaking. Obviously has that speed. This kid is fast. Like Barion's going to run 4.37 ish. That's where you probably want to project him. Obviously the size is going to be a problem. BMI 21.9. He's the smallest one out of this group. That's going to be the issue. Contested catches also. So when you look at contested catches, he did have 4. He had 5 drops. So, when you're thinking of like where he was at, I didn't see that a lot on there. Now, he might not have to have a lot of contested catches because it's so damn fast. But then you look at the weaknesses of the offense. The biggest question I have is I like Devin Leary. I think Dan Key's going to be a stud. What does that offensive line look like? If that offensive line is as bad as it was last year, he's going to struggle because they're not going to be able to pass the ball. If it's improved, then he's going to be fine. And I don't have to put offense on here, right? So those are the 2 things to look at with him and overall. Advanced stats, hey, target market share, 24%, receiving market share, 22%, yards market share, 23%. You like the dominator rating right there is 21%. And in dominator rating, weighted dominator, 22%. So you see those things, and those things are going to pop off. So you're talking about another breakout. And there's very easily you could kind of flip-flop these guys, Golden, those other guys there. Now, he's also can play in the outside and inside. He only played in the slot 29% of the time. So you're not looking at him just a slot guy. Like, and I know he's 166, but he's 6'1", right? Listed at that. So maybe this is the kind of kid that can play both. He's versatile, right? So those are the pictures we're trying to paint here. And in my number 5, Antonio Williams from Clemson. I think Antonio Williams is going to kind of step up this year, better offense. And you're looking at his BMI, very good, 190, 5'11", 56 catches, 604 yards, and 4 touchdowns. One of the best sure-handed players in this class. So when we're looking at what he does well, it's his damn hands, man. He catches every single thing that is thrown his way. So when you're looking at drop percentage, like we're talking about, he has a 1.8% drop percentage. That is insane. So he just catches balls, man. This dude's just going to come out there, go get it, and he doesn't drop things. And I think that's he's one of the highest rated receiving grades that you have. Like, you love that about him when you're looking at his profile. Now, improved offense too. Riley's going to be there now. So when you're looking at who came over, obviously Lincoln Riley's brother, Garrett, he's going to come over there. He's going to use them in different ways. I think Clay Klubnik is improvement over DJU. I think they're going to have a very good chemistry. So you're going to see that. You're going to see that efficiency go up, and he's already an efficient receiver. He's one of the most efficient receivers on this list. The issue for me in the profile is ADOT. Like, when you're looking at his ADOT, not great, 7.1. So you're not looking at a very good average after target. A lot of the stuff is quick routes. A lot of the stuff is sits. A lot of stuff is over the middle. Nothing really down the field yet. We hadn't seen that. So those are things that now, was that because of DJU? Maybe. And so maybe Klubnik will be able to unlock that. The other issue is he is strictly a slot guy, right? So 93% of the times he was in the slot. With that, you have Bo Collins and some of these other guys on the outside, Adam Randall, some of these other guys that are going to be there. He's going to be limited to that, which we're not going to see a big ADOT there. And then, hey, competition. So that room is really heavy right now. So that always a wide receiver. So where are those targets going to come from? Can he get off in press coverage? Remember, college is one of those things. Like, not a lot of teams are going to press these guys. But if they do, can he kind of get off his routes? And if he can't get off his routes quick enough, they're just going to throw it up to Bo and these other guys in Randall who could break out as well. And now you're thinking about, okay, is he going to earn those targets? Overall, here's his advanced stats: target market share, reception market share, you see there. Dominator rating didn't quite hit that 20%, touchdown market share. But overall, do you like his production and you like what he's able to do? You like his ADOT, right? Like these are things that you're going to like with him. But again, where does that look like, right? So maybe not like you like his ADOT, what it could be this year, not now, but maybe where you could have him. Then let's go to the other guys that are on the radar. I like McMillan. He was like one of the highest rated guys in my class last year. I was a big fan of him. He hits a lot of the numbers with his size where he's at. He hits a lot of it with his dominator as well. So when you're looking at it, he hit a 24% dominator rating. You like that. So that's a guy that you should keep an eye on. Also, Dorian Singer left, so you're going to see him and Cowing really be there and be the two guys, so you can see his target market share go up. Adam Randall was injured, but he came back from Clemson. A guy named keep your eye on. Then you have Jordan Hudson and DJ Allen, two TCU kids. I know they got a bunch of wide receiver transfers. I really like Jordan Hudson. I think DJ Allen could also pop off, so you're looking at that. Kobe Prentice and Isaiah Bond, two Alabama kids. I think those two guys you're looking at like, hey, could they be those next guys that step up and be there? And I do want to give you guys, Dane Key is out there for Kentucky as well. So he plays Berrien. I think Caden Saunders for Penn State could have a breakout. You're looking at some of those kids from Ohio State. Who's going to step up there? I do want to put a name on there. It's Chris Marshall. He's a Texas A&M wide receiver, but he transferred to Ole Miss. And I think Chris Marshall fits Ole Miss offense way better than he did at Texas A&M. So keep an eye on Chris Marshall. Could be a fun guy you grab in some of your fantasy leagues. So I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Hit that like and subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this gave you kind of an idea who these players are. I will check you guys next time.